Harihi Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviran Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivastadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevimanam Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barahavatam Samasita Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasadvanamalya Vamshi Ratnagadam Pranayakeli Kalavilasam Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vritimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Saduchvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabhamatma Bhaktau Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Satavatsara Sampragamyo Vayo Ratapi Manaso Munipungavanam Sopyasti Yat Prapadasimnya Vichintya Tattve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopi Yassa Rachaitum Jagadanda Kotim Yachaktirasti Jagadanda Chayayadanda Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Bhavita Diyo Manuchastataiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Sanayana Bhusha Shuktaryameva Nigama Pratitastuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabirya Eva Nicharupa Taya Kalavi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishtan Nanavatara Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti Kotishvashesha Vasudhati Vibhuti Binam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya hi yasya jagadanta satani sute Traigunya tadvishaya veda vitayamana Sattva-valambi parasattvam vishuddha sattvam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Ananda chinmaya rasatmataya manasu Ya praninam pratipalan smaratam upetya Lilaitena bhuvanani jayati ajashram Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Golokanamni nijadamni talecha tasya Devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu Te te prabhava nichaya vihitascha yena Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Srishti stiti pralaya sadhana shakti reka Chayeva yasya bhuvanani bibhati durga Ich anurupam apiyasya chachishtate sa Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Kshiram yatada divikara vishesha yogat Sanjayate nahitata pritakasti hetu Ya sambhutam apitata samupaiti karyat Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Deeparchireva hidasantaramabhupetya Deepayate vivrita hetu samana dharma Yastadrikeva hicha vishnu taya vibhati Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yakaranarna vajale bhajati sma yoga Nidram ananta jagadanda saroma kupa Adara shaktim avalambya param swamurtim Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yasyaika nishvasita kalam atavalambya Jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanata Vishnur mahansa iha yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Bhasvanyatasma sakaleshu nijeshu teja Sviyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tattvat atra Brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhanakarta Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yat padapalava-yugam vinidaya kumbha Dvandve pranama samaye saganadiraja Vignan vihantum alamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Agnirmahi gaganamambu maruddishascha Kalastatatma manasiti jagatrayani Yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yamcha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yachakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam Raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja Yasyagyaya brahmati sambrita kala chakro Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Dharmo tapapa nichaya shutayastapamsi Brahmadikita patagavadayascha jiva Yaddatamatra vibhava prakata prabhava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yastvendra gopa matavendra mahusvakarma Bandhanurupa palavajana matanoti Karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yam krodha kama sahaja pranayadi biti Vatsalya moha guru gaurava sevya bhavai Sanchintya tasya sadrishim tanumapureve Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Shriya kanta kanta parama purusha kalpataravo Druma bhumischintamani ganamai toyamamritam Kataganam natyam gamanam apivamshi priya sakhi Chit anandam jyoti param apitat ashvadyam apicha Sayatra kshirabdi shavati surabhibhyascha sumahan Nimesharda va vrajati nahi yatrapi samaya Vajashveta dvipam tamahamiha gulokamitiyam Vidantaste shantakshiti viralachara katipaye. Shishi Brahma Samhita ki jai. So we continue with the prayers of Lord Brahma. Text 37, the Gopis and the 64 arts. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, resembling his own spiritual figure, Nijarupataya, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities. In the company of her confidentes, Sakis, embodiment of the extensions of her bodily form, permitted and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. Permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa. Krishna relates to us in proportion to our surrender. In the previous verse, we heard what kind of benefits accrue to one who chants Krishna's praises, or even one who meditates on Krishna inimically. Now, according to Jiva Goswami, we learn of the highest limit of surrender. Quote, how much more than Govinda will reward his dearest devotees, the Gopis. This verse describes how he lives exclusively with the dear women in his private place. Though he continuously treats all other inhabitants of Goloka with intense love, regarding them as his very self, he resides only with the Gopis. This shows their exalted position. The reason is given. Their personifications of the Hladini Shakti. Further excellence is shown. Govinda is rasa, filled with spiritual bliss. This refers to Madhurya rasa, filled with the highest type of prema. This is also their corresponding nature. He is infused, bhavita, with conjugal rasa for them, and they, in response, prati, are also infused with similar feelings to the same degree. Thus he lives constantly with them. Digdarshani Tika 537. For those curious about the supreme abode and the divine exchange of rasa between its inhabitants, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur provides a privileged glimpse. First, however, he gives some background in Rasa Tattva. The Vibhava extension of the rasa, male quality, is twofold, alambana and udipana, prop and stimulation. Of this, alambana is twofold, ashraya, supported, and vishaya, supporter. Ashraya signifies Radhika, herself and the extensions of her own form, and Vishaya means Krishna himself. Krishna is Govinda, Lord of Goloka. The Gopis are the facsimile ashraya of that rasa. With them, Krishna indulges in eternal pastimes in Goloka. Nijarupataya means with the attributes manifested from the ecstatic energy.
So we have this is the rasa tattva here described. So we have the vibhava, and vibhava is twofold, alambana and udipana. Alambana includes Krishna and the devotee, in this case Krishna and Srimati Radharani. And udipan, stimulation, is the stimuli for expressing, for manifesting the loving emotion, bhava. And then when this loving emotion is manifested, this is called anubhava. Anubhava means spontaneous reactions, manifestations of one's bhava for Krishna. And then another bhava is sattvic, another constituent of rasa is sattvika bhava. Sattvika bhava is also a reaction of bhava, of stimuli, udipana, but it is completely involuntarily and without any what's the word? The intelligence...
Like automatic reaction of the body.
Exactly, the intelligence doesn't take any part of it. While in anubhava, the intelligence is working. It is part of it, although it is still spontaneous. It's completely spontaneous, but still the intelligence takes part. But sattvika bhava, the intelligence doesn't take any part. It just happens to you. These are the ashta sattvika bhavas, 8. And then when this, the next one is vyabhichari bhava, which moves contrary to the main motion, and in this way serves to strengthen it.
These are some kind of variety within the main bhava, yes?
Yes. Just by contrasting the main emotion, it makes the main emotion more prominent. And these are the constituents of rasa. When they mix together, this is what we call a rasa. So usually what we call a rasa is actually the sthai bhava, because bhava means that we have reached the level where we are aware, fully aware of our relationship with Krishna, and this is sthai bhava. This is after ruchi and asakti. The next level is called bhava. And usually we say, I am in, or somebody is in such and such a rasa, but with Krishna. But actually what we mean technically is sthai bhava. And when the sthai bhava, the udipan, the vibhava, the sattvika bhavas, the sanchari bhavas, and anubhavas, when they mix together, this is called rasa.
Can you give an example how these fall one after the other?
Let's say somebody is in parental rasa with Krishna. Let's say Mother Yashoda. So this is her relationship with Krishna. So this is her sthai bhava is parental rasa.
Yes.
And then what are the... So she's the ashraya, the shelter of this rasa.
And
Krishna is the vishaya. He's the enjoyer of this rasa. So Mother Yashoda, she's in the rasa with Krishna, and Krishna is the origin of all rasas. He's the ocean of rasa. He's Akila Rasamrita Murti. So this is called the vibhava, the ashraya and the vishaya. and then when there are stimulations, for example, in every rasa, in every sthai bhava, there are different, most prominent stimuli to activate this rasa. So let's say
So
when...
what does that mean? Devotees see certain things and they
Yes,
invoke emotions.
exactly. And they invoke their particular emotion, particular bhava that they have for Krishna. So in the case of Mother Yashoda, let's say she sees Krishna's ornaments, or
Shoes
she sees Krishna himself, his beautiful smile, his sweet, tender features. So these are the stimuli. And then when these stimuli are affecting Mother Yashoda, then she will do something. This is called anubhava, some volunteer, but also spontaneous, with the intelligence involved activities.
What, let's say she starts singing Krishna's pastimes,
Yes.
cook for Krishna, or
Yeah, they are described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What are the different anubhavas for each and every rasa, sthai bhava. And then, but then there will be more reactions to this. There will be ashta sattvika,
spontaneous.
sattvika bhavas. These are the 8: perspiration, crying, choking of the voice,
That the
being stunned.
intelligence is not
Yeah, the
taking
intelligence is not part of it at all. It just
part. So
happened.
the body just,
A
because
response.
of the emotion,
Yeah, the emotion, this bhava disturbs different elements of the body. So the acharyas explain, when the earth element is disturbed, then there is a stunning. When the water element is agitated, there is crying, and etc. And then there are other emotions which appear, which are, I think there are 33. They're called vyabhichari bhavas, who are like small waves in the big ocean. They move contrary to the main emotion, and in this way they make the main bhava more prominent, and they are transitory. They are not like the sthai bhava constant. They come and go. So these are the vyabhichari bhavas, and there are many of them.
so can we say they kind of help you to churn the main mood?
Yes, they
increase the main
increase.
main
Yes,
emotion.
they make it more prominent. Like say, Mother Yashoda sometimes, well, for example, when she saw Krishna in the course of Kaliya, she became afraid. She was very scared.
So fear, this
So
emotion
fear is one of
was
the vyabhichari bhavas.
opposite to her main emotion, which
Yeah.
is being a parent of Krishna. But actually it acts in a way that increases her affection and desire to protect Krishna. Okay. Nice.
So this is all together, it's called rasa. It's like different elements of a very tasty drink. Sugar and other things.
It was also interesting here is described that the nature of Srimati Radharani, who is the greatest of all gopis and the greatest devotee, her nature is Nicharupataya. She's basically from the same substance as the Lord. She's no different from the Lord. And all the other gopis or sakis, they are her expansions. So she's the main person that reciprocates with Krishna in loving affairs, in Madhurya Rasa. And all the other gopis, they fall in her footsteps.
Yes, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is described that Srimati Radharani is personification of Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's happiness. So imagine you are very happy, and this happiness, this joy pleasure in life as a person. And this is, for Krishna, this is Srimati Radharani. It's inconceivable for us. And this is one of our, I think the biggest problem in the material world is that we think that we should also have pleasure potency. We are under the impression that we are Krishna.
But it doesn't work quite exactly the same way as we
Well,
think.
it doesn't work at all, if you ask me, because that's what the conditioned soul always does. He's looking around and he's thinking, well, where is my pleasure-giving potency? So, okay, you, okay? You're gonna be my pleasure-giving potency, okay? So your duties, your responsibilities from now on are that you're supposed to give pleasure to me. But the problem is that the so-called pleasure
Giving
uh,
person,
yeah,
he also wants to be God.
he looks the same way at the guy, the person who talks to him. So they try to exploit each other. That's the problem.
Yes.
It doesn't work at all. But for Krishna, because he is actually the enjoyer, then it works perfectly. It works only for Krishna.
He's the only one that can
He's the only one.
take this
Well,
position and not have a bad consequences after that.
Therefore, we worship him because he is the enjoyer.
Yeah.
This is hard for the conditioned soul to accept. Even for devotees, it's hard to accept that you'll never be the hero in the story.
Nice. And you also know, after a few moments, we'll hear the expertise of the Gopis and especially Srimati Radharani in all these arts. And actually, this is the way how they serve Krishna, how they express their love to Krishna. Because the love, in order to be expressed, needs a medium. Without the medium, the love cannot be expressed. Like, for example, you say to someone you love him, but you have to actually do something. Maybe you, I don't know, cook something nice for him, or build a house for him, or buy a car, or some clothes, or something. You need a via media through which you express your feelings, your emotions, your love. So we will see now what are the amazing expertise of the Gopis and Srimati Radharani, how they express their love. But just before that, let's just finish. We have 2 more paragraphs. For those curious about the Supreme Abode and the divine exchange of rasa between its inhabitants, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur provides a privileged glimpse. First, however, he gives some background in Rasa Tattva. Sorry, we read this one. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta then shows how the ecstatic energy manifests itself in 64 activities in fine arts and crafts listed on the next page. Quote, all these arts manifesting their own eternal forms are ever visible in the region of Goloka as the ingredients of rasa, and in the mundane sphere they have been unstintingly exhibited in the pastimes of Raja by the spiritual Chit potency, Yoga Maya. The divine sportive potency fills the hearts of his paraphernalia with appropriate spiritual sentiments in conformity with the will of Krishna. Brahma Samhita 5.37 purport. Jiva Goswami points out the exclusive quality of such intimate exchanges. Quote, the word eva in the phrase Goloka eva indicates that such pastimes are not found elsewhere at all. So this, especially these particular exchanges, through these 64 arts, they can be seen in the spiritual world, and also a reflection of those can be seen in the spiritual world, in the material world. in Gokula. These are the realms where this can be perceived. And now we can just read these 64 arts. The art of singing, art of playing on musical instrument, art of dancing, art of theatricals, the art of painting the face and the body with colored, unguents and cosmetics. The sixth one, with colored, unguents and cosmetics. 7. Art of preparing offerings from rice and flowers. Art of making covering of flowers for a bed. So all these are things that actually can be perceived in the pastimes of Krishna in the spiritual world. Like Gopis, they make some special nice arrangements just for the sake of beautiful atmosphere, or they decorate asana, the place where Radha and Krishna will sit down, with nice flowers, with nice mandalas. All these things are a reality.
And I think it's significant that the Gopis are the experts in all these arts, and they are cited as the example. Because this is the female nature, it is endowed with this special potency. If you look even in the material world, men are usually not so much
in this kind of
expert
arts.
in this type. Men tend to be more direct, more functional. We can say even gross in a sense. No, not in a bad sense. Just more practical.
Not so refined.
Not so refined. They tend to be cut and dry in a sense. I mean, of course, we are making a generalization, and the female nature is more subtle, more sophisticated, and therefore one of the qualities of Srimati Radharani is one of the qualities anyway. The first one is she's very sweet. I think one of the other qualities is she's expert in enjoying life, and that means, she knows how to please Krishna. She knows all the details, how to give pleasure to Krishna's senses, and this is something that all the devotees are expert, of course, all devotees in Goloka or Vaikuntha, but specific example here, the authorities, the best in this are the Gopis.
Mm-hmm. Nice. 9. Art of applying preparations for cleansing the teeth, clothes, and painting the body. Art of making the groundwork of jewels. Art of covering the bed. Art of playing on music in water. Art of splashing with water. Art of practically applying the admixture of colors. Art of designing a preparation of wreaths. I'm not sure what does that mean. 15. Art of designing a preparation of wreaths.
Yeah, I don't know this word.
16. Art of practically setting the coronet on the head. Art of practically dressing in the tiring room. Art of decorating the tragos of the ear. Art of practical application of aromatics. Art of applying or setting ornaments. Art of jugglery. Kauchumara, a kind of art. Art of sleight of hands. Art of preparing varieties of salad, bread, cake, and delicious food. Art of practically preparing palatable drinks and tinging draughts with red color. Art of needleworks and weaving. art of playing with thread, art of playing on lute and small X-shaped drum, art of making and solving riddles, art of keeping of or reciting verse for verse as a trial for memory or skill, art of practicing language difficult to be answered by others, art of reciting books, art of enacting short plays and anecdotes. 33. Art of solving enigmatic verses, art of designing preparation of shield, can and arrows, art of spinning by spindle, art of carpentry, art of engineering, art of testing silver and jewels, art of metallurgy, the art of tinging jewels, art of mineralogy, minerals, art of practicing medicine or medical treatment by herbs, art of knowing the mode of fighting of lambs, cocks and birds, art of maintaining or knowing conversation between male and female cockatoos, art of healing or cleaning a person with perfumes, art of combing hair, art of talking with letters and fingers, art of fabricating barbarous or foreign sophistry, art of knowing provincial dialects, art of knowing prediction by heavenly voice or knowing preparation of toy cards by flowers, art of mechanics, the art of use of amulets, art of conversation, art of composing verse mentally, art of designing a literary work or a medical remedy, art of practicing as a builder of shrines called after him, art of the use of lexicography and meters, art of concealment of clothes, art of knowing specific gambling, art of playing with dice or magnet, art of using children's toys, art of enforcing discipline, art of gaining victory, art of awakening master with music at dawn. So basically, throughout this we can see that it's not boring in the spiritual realm. So many things are happening and so many arts and so many different activities.
Yeah, because if it's boring there, if it's kind of impersonal place, then what's the conclusion? We better stay here.
Yes.
The real fun is here. And there is just for old people who cannot enjoy anymore. And all these religious people, all this spirituality is for losers.
So basically, naturally, the spiritual world should be such that attracts us more from the material world. I mean, if the idea is to go back to the spiritual world.
Yeah.
And definitely all this variety that we see here, all these amazing activities, is very attractive for the mind. So the mind can identify with this. He may develop the desire, oh actually I want to go to these places and I want to see these things and I want to take part in these amazing pastimes. That's the idea of all these amazing arts manifested in the life in Goloka Vrindavan.
And all these arts are there to facilitate the loving exchanges between Krishna and the devotees. They are not by themselves. Nobody wants to master an art just to so that he or she becomes the best artist, just for the sake of reputation, name, fame. They all are actually just, they are important, but they're only important because they facilitate the exchange of love. It's something to do with Krishna, something to do that Krishna will be pleased by. That's the whole thing. In the material world, you practice this art because you want to become God. But God himself doesn't need to become God, and neither his devotees are under...
He rather doesn't want to be God, so
Yeah.
that he has the opportunity to have a very intimate relationship with his devotees.
Yes.
Because for a God, non-being God, it's more fun than being God. Maybe for us, that we are not God, we think, if I become God, then it will be more fun. Because I'll be able to control everybody and enjoy everything. But actually for Krishna, he is God, but he doesn't like to be God as much as he likes to enjoy with his devotees, just in a very natural and informal atmosphere. That's really fun for him. And these 64 hours, they help for this. Okay, so now we have one technical discussion, which I don't think we have to read all of it. Rather, we can just summarize the main points. So maybe we'll just read in the beginning a little bit, and then we'll explain, not to go too much into details, because it is technical thing. Svakya rasa vas parakya rasa. The verse translation above is by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. An alternative reading based on Jiva Goswami's commentary is as follows. So this is a translation of the same verse from Srila Jiva Goswami. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda, who, though regarding all the inhabitants and as his very self, resides in Goloka exclusively with the young Gopis, who are embodiment of Madhurya Rasa. He accepts them as his wives, Nija Rupataya, while they respond to his conjugal affection reciprocally. The main distinction between these two translations is the term Nija Rupataya, which Jiva Goswami takes to support the Svakya nature of the supreme couple's relationship. Svakya nature means they are married, and that's the main relationship they have. And he sang, Jiva Goswami saying, in Goloka, he accepts them as his own wives, Nija Rupataya. Though during his pastimes on earth, he accepts them as other person's wives, because it is impossible that they are other person's wives, since they are the supreme Lakshmis, or consorts of the Lord. In order to increase the sense of longing in his pastimes on earth, there is an appearance of their being others' wives, by covering the pastime of their actually being his wives alone. This occurs through his own Maya. During the pastimes on earth, he resides with them, while treating them as other wives, whereas in Goloka, the place of his unmanifest pastimes, he lives with them as his own consorts. This distinguishes his behavior in Goloka from that during his earthly pastimes. Digdarshanitika 537. This pastime is famous within the Gaudiya Vaishnava canon for sparking controversy among immature critics. Some parties attempt to use this statement to foment false discord between Vaishnavacharyas, claiming that Jiva Goswami stands in opposition to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his view that only Svakya Rasa exists in Vraja. Although the grossly misinformed and offensive nature of this charge might tempt one to ignore it, the manner in which it was addressed by our predecessors is highly instructive. Their statements provide valuable lessons on dealing with different types of materially conditioned opponents, be they mundane moralists or sahajas. Srila Prabhupada states, and now we have a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Okay, let's just read this and then we can summarize. According to another Sahaja accusation, Srila Jiva Goswami did not approve of the principles of the Parakya Rasa or of Vrajadam, and therefore supported Svakya Rasa, showing that Radha and Krishna are eternally married. Actually, when Jiva Goswami was alive, some of his followers disliked the Parakya Rasa of the Gopis. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami, for their spiritual benefit, supported Svakya Rasa, for he could understand that Sahajas would otherwise exploit the Parakya Rasa, as they are actually doing at the present time. Unfortunately, in Vrindavan and Navadvip, it has become fashionable among Sahajas in their debauchery to find an unmarried sexual partner to live with, to execute so-called devotional service in Parakya Rasa. Foreseeing this, Srila Jiva Goswami supported Svakya Rasa, and later all the Vaishnava Acharyas also approved of it. Srila Jiva Goswami was never opposed to the transcendental Parakya Rasa, nor has any other Vaishnava disapproved of it. CC Adi 1085. So basically, yeah, this is like apparent contradiction that appeared in the opinion of the Acharyas on this matter. If the highest pastimes between Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world are of the nature of Svakya or Parakya Rasa. And here we hear very nicely Srila Prabhupada is explaining what is the reason for Srila Jiva Goswami writing in this way. It was rather like a preaching reason. He wanted to present the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in such a way that nobody can misuse this and take advantage of it, and under the excuse that he is following the example of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world,
indulge in sinful activities.
Yes, perform sinful activities in this material world. So basically it was a preaching strategy that Srila Jiva Goswami used. And otherwise, Acharyas, they are explaining this Parakya relationship between Radha and Krishna exists in the spiritual world because it just gives an opportunity for even more intense exchange of love between them. Because when you're married to someone, then there is already a status quo in your relationship. You have expectations. But if the relationship is parakya, there is no expectation. So actually it gives even more opportunity for deeper exchange.
You don't have right. You're not entitled to anything.
Yes.
It's just because there is no law to support your claim. You don't have a claim.
Yes.
If you're married, the law is on your side. You can demand. No, I'm your.
But if no, you cannot demand.
You just akinchana gochara, kama akinchana gochara.
Yes. So that's why we can just conclude this discussion that there is no actually contradiction between the different opinions of the different acharyas. Yes. Rather, it was a preaching technique that was used from Jiva Goswami, especially for these times. This is the greatness of the acharyas. They know how to present the philosophy, what to write and what to say according to the time, place, and circumstances, so that the people don't misuse the philosophy and rather take advantage of it. And Srila Jiva Goswami, who is actually known as the maybe the greatest philosopher in our line, he did this thing. He just presented the philosophy according to the situation, according to the time, place, and circumstance. Would you like to add something else on this topic? Or no. It's enough. I think good enough. Text 38, the Self of Love. It's a very famous verse. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunasvarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the Supreme Lord Govinda of beautiful dark complexion, filled with inconceivable qualities, whom the devotees constantly see in their mind during samadhi permitted with prema. Here Jiva Goswami explains that seeing the Lord is not a matter of mundane vision, which depends on physical proximity. Quote, though Govinda lives in Goloka, he is also available in other places. The devotees see that the form of inconceivable qualities, achintya guna swarupam, by eyes covered with the ointment of prema, premanjana churita, during samadhi, bhakti vilovachanena. With such eyes they can see that the form in their minds, hridayeshu, like a reflection whose source is far away. Digdarshanitika 538. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur similarly explains the limitations of our material eyes. The Shyama Sundara form of Krishna is his inconceivable, simultaneous, personal and impersonal self-contradictory form. So the form of the Lord is simultaneously personal and impersonal, and it appears self-contradictory. True devotees see that form in their purified hearts under the influence of devotional trance. The form Shyama is not the blue color visible in the mundane world, but it is the transcendental variegated color affording eternal bliss, and is not visible to the mortal eye. So we say that the form of Krishna is blue color or the color of a raining cloud. And this is just to give us some idea, but actually all this is visualization on a mundane plane. The real form of the Lord can be perceived with eyes which are covered with prema, and actually the devotee perceives this form of the Lord, as it was explained here, in his heart. Although the original of this form is far away in the spiritual world, but he sees the manifestation of the Lord, of this form of the Lord in his heart, through the loving devotional service he is performing. When Krishna manifested himself in Vraja, both the devotees and non-devotees saw him with his very eye. But only the devotees cherished him, eternally present in Vraja, as the priceless jewel of their heart. So both saw him, but devotees, because they have this premanjana churita, this vision of love, they could actually keep Krishna in their hearts. Other personalities, they could not get the same benefit out of it. Nowadays also, the devotees see him in Vraja in their hearts, saturated with devotion, although they do not see him with their eyes. The eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of the pure, unalloyed, spiritual self of the jiva. The form of Krishna is visible to that eye in proportion to its purification by the practice of devotion. So through intense practice of sadhana bhakti, one's eyes can be purified, and with these purified eyes one can perceive Krishna within his heart. This is the spiritual vision, the way how spiritual vision works. When the devotion of the neophyte reaches the stage of bhava bhakti, the pure eye of that devotee is tinged with the self of love by the grace of Krishna, which enables him to see Krishna face to face. So the real image of Krishna can be perceived from the level of bhava, when devotee really start developing the first rays of prema within his heart. It is said actually in Nectar of Devotion that on the level of bhava, a ray of the spiritual energy, Hladini Shakti of Krishna, enters the heart of the devotee.
And Chit.
Okay,
And
Hladini and Chit.
Hladini and Samhita. Knowledge and bliss.
Okay.
They both enter.
In the heart of the devotee. And then the devotee can perceive Krishna in his heart.
They basically substitute his mind. They permeate the mind to such an extent that they become indistinguishable from the mind of the devotee. So just Krishna substitutes material mind with your spiritual mind. That's what he does. So
can we say that actually this is the purification of the material mind and the real spiritual mind appears?
Yes.
As it was explained about the vision about the eyes.
Yes.
The sum and substance of this shloka is that the form of Krishna, who is Shyama Sundara, Natabara, the best dancer, Muralidhara, holder of the flute, and Tribhanga, the triple bending, is not a mental concoction, but is transcendental form, and is visible with the eye of the soul of the devotee under trance. Brahma Samhita 538 purport, very powerful statement of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So in order the devotee really to perceive the form of the Lord, he has to make his advancement in the spiritual life and achieve the highest levels in the spiritual process. And then naturally this form will be revealed within his heart because of the loving devotion that he rendered to Krishna. Okay, and tomorrow we will continue with the next topic, which is description of the Lord's expansions. Verse 39. Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.